What's going on, rock stars? Welcome to the 1% Life Show. My question for you today is your unconscious mind unintentionally hurting you or helping you? Thomas Edison once said, never go to bed without a request to your subconscious. We're going to talk about it today. But let me introduce myself. If you are listening to us on the Facebooks live, welcome in. If you are listening to us #live or maybe the replay, in which case we love to know. If you're new to the show, drop a 1. If you've been here before, drop a 2. And welcome. My name is Joanie Dillon, peak performance coach and trainer. Today we are talking about your subconscious mind. Tag a friend who could use some help. Maybe they have a problem in their life that they're trying to solve. It could be something like bringing more money, more income, more revenue, more finances into their household. It could also be a relationship challenge, a problem that they're having with their family, or a big decision that they need to solve. Whatever that is, we're going to talk about how to get to the bottom of that problem like that and to get answers quicker than you know. And it starts with you. You don't have to go pay a therapist. You don't have to go find a coach and a trainer and all those other people out there who want to help you and give you all their answers and solutions. You actually have the answer right now. I'm going to show you how fast you can get in touch with it. So are you ready? Let's talk about this hack. So here's the thing, by the way, let me know who you are as you come in here and from where across the world you are tuning in from, for those of you listening to us live. And be sure to share this out. It's not something I love to ask for, but it's something that I need to ask for because we've got to reach more people. We've got to get this out, this show, the 1% Life, out to more people across the world, right? Millions of people should be listening to the 1% Life show. Why do I believe that? Because I believe that here you get the tools for improving your mind and therefore improving your life. We're going to talk about why your mind may be working against you today. And not just today, well, maybe even yesterday, and perhaps even the day before and years before that, and how you can begin now to change that, to switch that. So tag somebody who should be hearing this live and share this out. Let's get this message out there. And here we go. So what's going on is this. Most people's minds control them. In fact, your mind may be controlling you right now. And the reason why your mind may be controlling you is because you have not yet learned how to control it. True story. See, the reality is that our mind does not control us. Does our mind do certain things? Absolutely. It will do whatever you allow it to do. It has responsibilities, right? We have our conscious mind and then we have our subconscious mind. Again, we talk about that a lot. And this is really one of our main themes of our show, is really learning how to work with your subconscious mind so you can create the outcomes that you want in your life. And Rockstar, the reality is that your mind is most likely controlling you. See, when you think about a computer, just think about a computer for a moment. A computer will not do anything, even if you push the on button, unless it has an operating system. Do you agree? And that operating system is one that doesn't just exist by itself forever, meaning you don't get one operating system and 2 years later you're still operating on the same OS, right? It has what we call updates. Why it has updates is because things change, things tweak, and things need updating. And if you're not updating your operating system won't work. It really won't work the way you want it to. And our mind is the same way. It works just like a computer, and maybe you want to consider it even in that way. So your operating system that you have right now is running by a crazy default program, okay? And therefore it's controlling you. When it controls you, you don't get the outcomes that you want in your life. Maybe you know what I mean. You have to create your own operating system, meaning you have to program your own operating system with what you want in it, instead of letting your operating system run away with itself and do whatever the heck it wants to do and create all kinds of, new softwares and malwares and all kinds of stuff that aren't working for you. So what you put in your mind is creating your operating system at all times. It's adding to the operating system, right? So the things that we take in, we consume, whether it's news media, audio books, people's conversations, people who we respect's conversations, all of those things are they're coming in as input into our minds, right? And we are taking in that information that's being constantly bombarded at us. It's not just a conversation that you have with somebody when information's going in or at the moment you turn on the news. No, you are constantly being bombarded with information every single second of the day, millions and millions and millions and millions of bits of information every single day. In fact, they say up to 11 million bits per second of data is coming at you every second, right? Every second. Can you process it all? No, you can't. We'd go crazy. We'd be insane if we could process all of that data. So, what happens is we use our filters, right? Our filters that are based on many different things, which we won't get into today, but the filters that we have, and mine are unique for me and yours are unique for you, are based on our past upbringing, the experiences that we have, the belief systems we've acquired because of those past life experiences, our value systems, all kinds of different things dictate the lens through which we filter the data that's coming in through our auditory, through our sounds that we hear, the sounds that we hear, through the smells that we smell, the tastes that we taste, and sight, and all of the different senses, right? Kinesthetic, all of the different senses. And we filter that data. So what happens is that you're constantly programming your operating system by what you are taking in all your different senses. So if, for example, you are listening to something on the news that you might not even agree with, but you're listening to it during a time, which we'll talk about in just a moment, that your mind may be very receptive and open. There are certain times of the day that really is enhanced. And when that's the case, that data is coming in and it's getting often installed, okay, as suggestions into your subconscious mind. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, for example, if somebody says to you, and reject this because it certainly doesn't apply, that everybody's dying of the coronavirus, doesn't apply, reject that. And you hear that data, and it may come from a very reliable source, maybe somebody that you respect in your life. It could be somebody who you really look up to. And when they say something, you listen often. Maybe you know who that person is for you. I know who those people are for me. And when they say something that catches me off guard, I listen because I respect them. And this also happens with the news media. Why? Because we as human beings, many of us, not all of us, but many of us look up to those types of media outlets, meaning we think just because it's on the news that it's real, it's legitimate, it's the way things are. Oh, but the news said so. Oh, as if they don't have an agenda, right? And as it's okay to have, they're, a for-profit publication, just like a magazine, just like a business, just like we all have freedom of speech. Well, we think, right? So we do. Um, and so kind of. And anyways, we'll get off that one, right? So digress. Yeah, there's a lot of touchy subjects these days, are there not? And going back to this is the data that we're programming our operating system of our mind with. It's really important that we are mindful of it and what it is specifically that we are bringing in. Because again, if you're not careful, you will just so program yourself with something that it may not actually be benefiting you. to have in your mind, right? And it may just well become a belief system of yours. And so these types of things are really important to pay attention to. What am I putting in my mind and when, and who specifically am I listening to and why, for what purpose? So your operating system is always being generated. It's always being created at all times. Know that and begin to program your own operating system. Okay. So that's really, really, really important for you to understand, that you actually have control of your mind. Just like your thoughts do not control you or own you, even though it may at times feel like that, you also are in control of your mind. And you have to learn how to control your mind so your mind does not control you. And if you feel like your mind's controlling you, all of our minds do at times, right? Where it's like, oh my gosh, my thoughts are running away and they're not going in a very positive place. And I know I felt that a few times recently. And I had to remember that, oh, no, no, Joanie, you control your mind. You can control what you're focused on. If you're feeling a certain way, it's because you're thinking a certain thing, and you get to shift that now, right? And that changes how you feel. So our minds are most receptive to take in new information during certain hours of the day. All right. And those two periods of the day that are its most receptive is in the morning, right after you wake up, right? When you're sleeping, your brain is experiencing delta wave patterns, right? You are in delta. And then when you wake up, you start going through your brain waves start shifting, right? You're shifting states from a deep sleep state or whatever sleep state you were in, and you're now starting to wake up. So what happens is you start entering into initially a little bit of a theta state, right? And then you go into alpha, and alpha's we won't talk about the states in too much detail today, but and then you're in beta, and you can be in high beta throughout the day, right? Like when you're operating and functioning, you're in a high beta state. And then you can go back down through the states right before bed. Not you can, you do. You do. And so right after you wake up and right before you go to sleep, that state where you're just kind of like waking up, you're like, oh my gosh, you're a little groggy, and the stimuli hasn't fully kicked in. Your phone's not getting blown up. You haven't checked social media yet. All the problems of the day, quote unquote problems or challenges, or let's just call them opportunities of the day, haven't yet set in. Well, you're in a really nice, relaxed state. And it's a perfect time for you to begin to take control of your mind. Okay. It's a really opportune time, as well as right before bed. When you're in bed, I always say there's certain rituals that I like to um, coach on prior to going to bed, meaning like if you're having trouble sleeping, there's certain things that you want to do. And I'm not getting into them entirely, but just start dimming the lights before bed. Start getting your mind to believe that it's winding down. These rituals that you can start doing are really going to have a profound impact on your sleep and your mind being anchored to sleep, right? Don't bring your computer into your bed. Your bed is a sacred place to sleep and to do other things, but your bed is not a place to work. Okay. And when you start bringing work into your bed, guess what? You're programming your subconscious mind to feel all the feelings that come along with work. And they're not always great feelings, right? There can be feelings of anxiety, overwhelm, overload, whatever it is, anticipation, all of the different feelings that come up around work for you specifically. And so we want to really be mindful of the sacredness of the sanctity of our space that we create in our bedroom, and also the rituals that we take ourselves through prior to bed. It's going to create the most restful sleep, and it's going to set you up to win. So the hack that I want to share with you to begin to program your subconscious mind to start working for you, as opposed to your unconscious mind working against you, which many of yours are. And mine does at times too. It's because we have to learn what the blocks are, what the challenges are, what the resistance is. It doesn't mean to. It's not its intent. We just have to learn how to work with it and how to bring up to awareness the thing that's unconscious so that we can work through it and resolve our quote unquote issues, challenges, and things like that. So let's take it back to where we were. Um, here's what you get to do, right? As you begin to now build a relationship with your unconscious mind and look at it as a partnership, a really tight knit partnership, one that you believe is supporting you, loving you, protecting you, caring for you, helping you through difficult times. As you begin to do that, and really start to understand that that's your unconscious mind can do that. It can do that for you. And so when you have a challenge or you have a problem, right? Maybe it's something, for example, like you need to generate more cash or you want a new business idea. So here's what you're going to do. So here's the hack. Again, rather than letting other people's agenda control you right before bed when your mind is going out of a beta state into alpha, into theta, and soon into a delta state, take control of your own agenda rather than someone else's agenda taking control of you and your mind. So throughout the day, jot down your problems, okay? Jot down your problems, jot down your areas of challenge that are coming up for you that you'd really like to solve or have your unconscious mind solve for you in your sleep. Maybe you want to keep a notebook. It could just be your gratitude journal. I know a lot of my clients have a gratitude journal or a wins journal as well. It could be that. That's fine. It could be, just your day to day. I have so many journals. It's just crazy. And I have my daily work journal, my gratitude journal, and my biohacking journal. I have all kinds of journals. Anyway, whatever your journal is, get one, order one. You can get a cheap one. It's just super easy. And you can use this for different things. One of which is to jot down little things that are coming up for you throughout the day, challenges, opportunities, problems that need solving. This can be as simple as, you're arguing with someone in your life or you're having some conflict and you want it resolved. Jot that down for the day. Okay. So write the date and start jotting down some problems and some ideas that come up for you throughout the day. Don't go looking for them. Like when they surface, jot it down, right? Keep that notebook near you if you work in a certain place, or maybe just a little notepad, whatever it is. It could just be a little, what do you call those? Sticky notes. That's all it could be. It just could be that. And when something comes up, just write down a word or two. And prior to bed, you're going to pick one of those things and you might want to write it out again. And you can either, for those of you who are really, you like to write things out, that makes you feel better. That's great. Write it out. For me, what I do and what most of my coaching clients do is they just have a conversation with their unconscious mind before bed. And it can look like this, either on paper or out loud in words. And it is just so simple. Unconscious mind, I want you to help me X. So when I sleep tonight, help me X. Okay. So it could be unconscious mind. When I sleep tonight, I want you to help me develop an idea on how I can, for example, generate more cash, find a new business idea, generate additional income streams, give me clarity, for example, on how to communicate with so and so. Help me figure out how to attract the person who I need right now to help me solve this problem. Whatever the problem is for you or the obstacle that you're feeling like you have right now. So write it out. Unconscious mind, help me solve X, or simply have a conversation out loud with your unconscious mind. If you want to call it your subconscious, that's fine too. And you do that right before bed, like right before bed. You don't have to time it. Like, don't overthink this now. No overthinking allowed. Like, it's not, oh, the second my eyes close, it's just you're in bed and you're starting to process the thing that you want your unconscious mind to work on for you. And this is why I recommend no listening to just the news before bed. That's creating your operating system, right? You get to create your operating system by whatever you choose to put in your unconscious mind. And that is going in your unconscious mind right before bed. Those things are getting installed like crazy. So all that fear mongering of, oh my gosh, what's happening to the world? And I don't even know because I don't even watch it. Real talk, real talk. Like I know a lot of what I want to put my attention towards because that's my conscious intention. I'm paying attention to certain things out there, but not the news media, the general news media, CNNs, MSNs, all of those channels. No, 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 no. I don't care. Fox News, any of them. I no, never for me, never. Cringe worthy for me. Okay. Like cringe. I believe I will get the information I need from who I need to get it from. I didn't even know the day that we went into a lockdown here. It didn't matter to me. My life's fine. It'll, I'll get the information. My unconscious mind always serves me. I'll get the information I need. And that's just a belief system I choose to keep. And you can choose to keep that as well, or you can choose to continue with what you're doing if it's serving you. If it's not serving you, I encourage you to look at it and to change it today. So, um, right before bed, you're asking yourself to work on a specific problem, okay? And and then you go to bed. You go to bed. And your unconscious mind is going to stew on the problem. It's going to work on the problem and it's going to deliver it to you and however it delivers it to you. It may be first thing in the morning, you pop up with an answer. It might be through a dream that you recall. It might be through, you can ask it, you can give it to me in dream time, you can just make it super obvious to me tomorrow. You can have these conversations or you cannot. But the more you begin to have a conversation with your unconscious mind, not just once per day, but throughout the day, there's really a very little period of time that I'm not having a conversation with my unconscious mind. If I am not in the middle of training, having a conversation with someone in particular, there's things going on that I'm programming my operating system with so that I run my mind. It's very intentional. So I run my mind as opposed to my mind wanting to run itself and my body for me. Run my body, mind, please. Like, let my blood flow, let my heart beat, let all those things that need to happen, but just let me control the other things, right? Most of those things. So, another thing that you can do in the morning is if you choose, something that I'm actually going to start doing again, which is spend, early in the morning again, before you're full on at your day and it's just crazy. It might be right when you get up. My dog is at a place in his life now where he just doesn't have to get up and go. He sleeps in a bit, which is nice because I'm not up at just because the daylight's up earlier now. I think it is. It doesn't mean that I have to be or he has to be, right? So I'm walking him. And so I can just sit and I can take my journal out and I can spend 20 to 30 minutes and ask my unconscious mind a question. And it could be the same question, most likely, that I had asked it the night before. But how I word it, and you can word it this way too. One of the things that I love, love, love to do, and I just can't recall where I got this from, but I want to pass it on to you, is I sit with my journal and I say, unconscious mind, what would you have me know? That's it. In quiet, in solitude, before the chaos of the day, as you're in a nice alpha state, right? Just in bed. Maybe you brushed your teeth, you came back to bed, whatever, went to bed, that's fine. Had some water, that's fine. But what would you have me know? Unconscious mind, or just what would you have me know? And you start trusting what comes up for you. Rock stars. The more you can begin to trust your unconscious mind, to begin to build a relationship with your unconscious mind, you will start to trust things that were coming up for you that you were suppressing before in the past. And you're going to see that you're taking inspired action. You're trusting the thing that in the past you would have put a damper on. You would have put that fire out, right? The little spark gets lit and you're like, oh no, not that. Wait. You had all these signs and you didn't listen. You were told, you were guided, you didn't listen. Listen. It's telling you something. It's there for you. So I gave you 2 hacks. You can do them together or do them individually, separately, however you choose. And whatever you do, just choose to do them. if you begin to take what you're learning in the 1% Life show, a 1% Life podcast, and start implementing it right away, what you'll find is that when you do something right away, you begin to build the muscle, and then you do it again and you commit to it and you schedule it in your phone, because we forget things, right? There's so much, even in this calm, there's still, chaos in the calm, right? Depending on how you look at the world, right? There's a lot always going on in our lives, stimuli constantly happening, and if you have people you live with, there's a lot of stuff going on. So it's easy to forget. Take your phone out, create an event, and make it go every day at a certain time per day, that you remind yourself to program your unconscious mind. And maybe you just say, program your mind. That's it. Or create the intention, whatever the words are for you. Throw in some emojis. It could have an alarm or sound to it, a music to it, whatever it is. But every night, if you know when you approximately go to bed, set that alarm so that you begin to program your unconscious mind. And it could be, let's say you're like, oh, it went off and I'm not ready to go to bed. That's fine. It's now in your consciousness. It's now at the forefront of your consciousness, right? You're now conscious of it, and you'll probably remember. And you can just say, unconscious mind, remind me to do that again right before bed. It will. I promise you, it will. Okay. So hopefully you enjoyed. Did you enjoy this hack? I hope you did. It's one of my favorites. Again, my life has changed so much since I have begun to build a relationship, a partnership, a beautiful partnership with my subconscious. It guides me. I listen. When it guides me not to do something, I don't do the thing. When it guides me to do it, and the key is knowing when that's just like real fear or not so real fear. And you'll learn how to do that as you keep listening to the show. So, rock stars, share this out. Tag somebody who you believe, if you got value from this, tag somebody who should listen to this, and take a screenshot. Tag me in it on the Instagram at Joanie Dillon, or on Facebook, whichever platform that you're on. And let us know what you liked, what you loved, what you learned, and what you want to hear more of. Either one of those, any one of those. We love to hear from you. Until next time, Rockstar, get out there and change some lives today and be truly unstoppable. Peace. Have a great weekend, everyone.